Hello, welcome to the Mum Boss Method podcast. I've just hit record and now I feel like I'm going to sneeze, so this could be interesting. I'm recording this for you because it's something that has come up so often this week. It's unbelievable. It's food planning, okay? Now, this happens in my job that these themes come up all on the same week, which is really fortunate because it helps me to create content that's going to help you. But I always find it really, really strange how one thing seems to come up for so many clients in 1 week. Considering that I work with, over 40 women at the moment, that is incredible to me that this has come up for over 50% of the women that I've been talking to this week. So I'm going to talk to you about food planning and how you're probably not helping yourself when it comes to food planning. I just need to tell you though that I'm having a mare at the minute with, it gets to this time of the day, like I'm recording this just after midday, and all of a sudden all the flies in the world wake up and the back door is open downstairs and they're like, yeah, we're going to go upstairs, we're going to congregate in Chrissy's office and we're just going to make life difficult for her. So if you can hear buzzing in the background, I'm really sorry. I think there's also possibly a wasp in here, so I might need to pause and get rid of that so the dog doesn't eat it. Anyway, as I said, lots of my clients have struggled with food planning and organisation in this past week. So I thought this was going to be a really good topic to cover with you on this week's midweek podcast. Just put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So one of the principles of my coaching is make it easy. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to plan. And at this point, if you're listening and thinking, this doesn't apply to me, Chrissy, I'm a wing it kind of girl. I like to fly by the seat of my pants. You might think, right, I'm going to switch off now, but I really don't want you to switch off now, okay? Because you can be a wing it kind of girl. You can fly by the seat of your pants. You can, be the kind of person that leaves things really open to all of the different options. But I need you to understand this. Nothing happens by accident. I promise you, nothing happens by accident, particularly not if you are on a weight loss journey, you're trying to improve your health and fitness. This doesn't happen by accident, okay? So by not planning your life in general, but more specifically your food, when you've got a fat loss and a health and fitness goal, you are not making this journey easy for yourself. And in fact, you're probably making it more stressful and more difficult than it needs to be. What I'm not saying is that you have to have every minute planned out to the second. That doesn't have to happen. Now, in my corporate career, I did a lot of work on personality types, and it doesn't matter whether you believe in personality types or not, but there are categories of people, okay? And you see that in life. There are those who work better with plans and structure, and those people who prefer to leave things open and are a lot more comfortable with last minute changes. And both of those are fine. No one is better than the other. There's no wrong or right way. Lots of my clients fall into that second category. And you know what? When it comes to social life and socializing, personal life, and when plans change, this works really well for them because they're much more comfortable with things changing. They're much more comfortable with going with the flow. Me, myself, I'm not. My best friend laughs at me all the time because I am a woman of detail and I need to know all of the plans down to the nitty gritty. I need to get rid of these flies. I'm going to pause. I've opened the window in the hope that they'll just fly out. One of them has, but gosh, who knows? Anyway, as I was saying, my best friend laughs at me all the time because I need to know all the details, I need to know the ins and outs, and she's really easy and go with the flow, although we call her the most organised, disorganised person in the world. But yesterday she just whacked out this giant chocolate peanut butter birthday cake for me. She's got a 10-month-old baby that doesn't really sleep. She's really busy, and she managed to make that. Mental. But like I say, both are fine. But the one thing that really helps my clients is getting organised, getting planned, and applying a bit more structure. Notice I said a bit more structure to their life when it comes to food, to shopping, and to eating. And I was talking to a client earlier this week who said that she gets exhausted with the thinking and the planning and the shopping and the cooking and the organising of all the food situations. And she feels like so much of it is on her shoulders. And I know that many of you can relate to this. And if you have other halves that take on most of the cooking, or it feels a lot more equal in your house, then that's great. I'm really pleased for you. But I know that for myself, up until really the beginning of this year, I never had a discussion in the house about what food was going to be, or the shopping, or the cooking, or anything. And I just did it all. And then I got to kind of the beginning of January this year, and I lost it a little bit actually, and just said to Tom, like, I need a bit more help. I need you to take a few of the nights of cooking. We need a few more easier dinners, and I need yours and Charlie's input on what we're eating every week, because it feels like a lot. So I can relate to that. Sometimes it's not even doing, is it? It's just the thinking about it, the constant thinking about what you're going to eat as well. So anyway, I want to help you make this easier by giving you a simple process that I follow when it comes to my food shopping and planning. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is I want you to pick a day that you do your shopping. And this is particularly true if you are one of these people that finds yourself popping to the shop every couple of days. Okay, I want you to select a day that works for you. If you can't get to the shops to do a big shop, then I urge you to do online shopping, which I honestly think is a lifesaver. I've done my shopping online since my son was born, so 13 years. And yeah, I might often pop and do a little top-up shop. And that tends to be on a Saturday. And it's only really been since Aldi have been so popular, because I can get little bits in there that, they do a lot of protein products. They do, they do stuff that is a bit more reasonably priced than it would be in the supermarket. Reasonably priced, a little bit cheaper than it would be in the supermarket. So it works really easily for me on a Saturday morning to pop in there at 8 o'clock when I finish my gym workout. And honestly, I'm out by 20 past 8. It's a basket shop on a Saturday, but the main shop is done online. Okay. And this is the point where you might be going, oh, I can't do online shopping. I like to pick my own veg. I like to give my apples a squeeze, or whatever it is. If this is you, great. I'm really pleased for you. But then please, please, please don't moan about the fact you have to go and do the shopping, and that takes you an hour and a half every week, because you could make your own life easier if you chose to. And Aldi do online shopping now. I think you have to pay for it. I think it's like £5 a slot or something. But you could make your life easier. And you know what? I'm going to have a drink of water. You don't even need to do online shopping every week. I just think consider it as an option when weeks are really, really busy. Okay, so you could make your life easier if you choose to. And if you choose not to because you like to physically go to the shop, then remember that is your choice. Okay, so that's your first thing, is pick a day that you're doing your shopping. Okay, and try to make that the same day every week. Because if you make that the same day every week, you've got 7 days worth of shopping to do. Whereas if you do it on a different day every week, some weeks you've got 7 days, some weeks you've got 5 days, some weeks you've got 10 days because you can't get back to the shop for another 10 days, okay? Then number 2 is you've got that day that you're doing your food shopping, or the day that you're doing your online shop. The next thing you need to do ahead of the day that you're either putting the food shop in online or you're physically going to the shop is you need to plan the meals that you're going to have. And for this, you're going to need your calendar or your family calendar or whatever it is you use to organise you and your family in the house, okay? So that's what you need to do. Because do not go to that supermarket or put that online food delivery in if you don't know what the meals are that you're cooking for, that you're shopping for. One of my clients that I spoke to earlier this week, she says, I always had, the cupboards are always full. I'm that mum that the cupboards are always, super full of everything. But it means that I go to the supermarket and I just buy the same stuff every week, but I've not checked what I've already got. And then I get to that situation where I stand at the fridge on a Thursday evening scratching my head, well, what shall I make? What can I be bothered to make? And this is the thing, right? Sometimes your week goes to plan. But sometimes, or most of the time, your week doesn't go to plan, right? There's always going to be a curveball that life throws in. So what I want you to think about is by creating this meal plan, Monday we're having this, Tuesday we're having this, etc., etc. On a day where you get stuck in an hour's worth of traffic on the way home and you'd planned in to make a dinner that's going to take you 45 minutes to cook, but if you know you've got something planned for later in the week that's only going to take you 15 minutes, you can swap them round. Rather than standing looking at the fridge and going, oh, everything in here takes about an hour to cook and I do not have the time, the energy or the inclination to do it, right? Because you've not given any thought to what meals you're actually pulling together, and your already tired and decision fatigued brain is saying, no, I'm not cooking that. That's too much effort. No, I'm not cooking that because I don't fancy it. No, I'm not cooking that because actually, I've already eaten something like that for lunch. So take away a decision for yourself by creating a plan, and do that in conjunction with looking at the family calendar. Okay, so here's where we go to step 3. So you've decided on the day that you're either doing your shopping or putting your food shop in. And then you're deciding on the day that you're going to meal plan, right? And you're grabbing your calendar. So here's what I want you to actually do, physically do. I want you to make this really easy and pick one breakfast that you are going to have for the next 7 days. And again, if at this point you say, but I don't know what I'm going to want for breakfast next Wednesday, Chrissy, I don't know what I'm going to fancy. You're making this harder for yourself. Your brain makes thousands of decisions every single day. And we get decision fatigue really easily. So the best way to stop that is to give it less decisions to make. I've been eating the same breakfast for about 6 years. It might even be a bit longer than that, because I kind of remember eating this breakfast when I was at TK Maxx for at least the last 3 years of being at TK Maxx. And so it could be like 7 or 8 years I've been eating this breakfast for. And okay, I change it up a little bit. And some days I might have something different, but more often than not, that's a weekend day when we're at home and we've got, we're eating together, breakfast together, or we're doing something different. But most days it is the same. And this is what my clients call the Chrissy. It is oats. It is Greek yogurt. It is some kind of fruit. A sprinkling of granola or fruit and fibre is my thing at the moment. And sometimes I put a drizzle of of peanut butter on that. This morning it was honey, actually. How do I change that up? Well, I change up the fruit. I change up the sprinkles that I put on top of it. Sometimes, like I've just said, I have honey. I went through years of mixing protein powder into it, and I don't do that at the moment. I've stepped away from that. But I check depending on the time of year. At the moment, strawberries are just so delicious. So at the moment, I have a lot of fresh strawberries and blueberries in it. Whereas in the winter, I'm having more kind of black forest fruits and frozen fruit that I always have in the freezer. Why do I do this? Well, firstly, I enjoy it. Secondly, it's really easy. I can make it the night before. And if, yesterday was my birthday, we were celebrating. By the time all my family left, I was absolutely exhausted. So I threw that breakfast together this morning at 6:30 when I got up. And by the time I was ready to eat it at 9:00, my fruit had defrosted. It was all fine. I don't have to think about it. And I know I can prep it ahead of time, or as long as I've got a couple of hours in the morning, or even less if it's fresh fruit, it takes me 5 minutes to make. Now, you don't have to have the one breakfast you're choosing for the next 7 days for 6 years. It's just one breakfast. But what I'm saying is have that for a week. So it makes it easy, okay? Next step, decide on 2 lunches that you can alternate through the week. Now, again, there might be things you can do to change it up. So let's say that you decide a tuna wrap is one of them. You could change up the salad veggies that you have with it. You could, one day it could be a tuna wrap, the next it could be a tuna sandwich, the next it could be a tuna bagel. Okay. You could change it up to being, well, it doesn't have to always be tuna. It could be a chicken wrap or a chicken sandwich, okay? But I want you to think about 2 lunches that you can alternate through the week. So I'm going to give you my examples this week. So I've had chicken salads and tuna salads, okay? Because I just fancied big bowls of really chopped up salads, okay? So for my food shop this week, I made sure I had cooked chicken and I had plenty of tins of tuna, loads and loads of salad veggies, and then things that I love to put in salads like radishes, beetroot, avocado. I wouldn't normally I don't buy beetroot every week. I buy beetroot on the weeks I really want salads, okay? Now, once this is done, so you've got your breakfast, you've got your lunches. So far you've thought about 3 meals, 1 breakfast, 2 lunches, okay? I want you to have a look at your diary and I want you to plan your dinners to meet your diary. So for example, on a Monday, I always want something super quick that heats up well because Tom eats when he gets home from the gym. So we always have a stir fry or a super quick curry on a Monday, always. On a Wednesday and Thursday, I work in the evening. So I need something that can either go in the slow cooker or can be chucked in the oven with very minimal effort. Okay. So I always make my Wednesday and my Thursday food choices fit those requirements. On a Friday, we have a bit more time. And we like to have a bit of a fake away. So I always do something like a kebab fake away on a Friday. Make your food choices fit your life. Now, here's where you can be really clever because some of your dinner choices can also be doubled up and used for lunches. So you might make a pasta bake. So if there's 4 of you in your family, make 5 or 6 portions so that you've got some left over for the next day and the day after that. So my week this week, yesterday was my birthday, we had a barbecue, there are chicken skewers and plenty of salad left over, which I'm having for lunch today. Tonight we're having a fish, vegetable and pasta oven baked dish. There's 3 of us, there's 4 salmon fillets, which means I've got a salmon fillet left over for my lunch tomorrow. So all of a sudden your 2 lunches for the week have, potentially become 3 or 4 lunches because you're utilising leftovers. And that's creating no more effort, because if you're already cooking a pasta bake, how much harder is it to cook 5 portions or 6 portions rather than the amount of people that there are eating it? Okay. So now once you've done that, and if you're really clever about it as well, some of your dinners can be duplicated. So for example, sometimes you could turn a spaghetti bolognese by the addition of some different spices and some kidney beans. You could turn a bolognese into a chili, right? So you could make a massive batch of bolognese, halve it, one of those becomes a chili, one of them becomes a bolognese. So you're making this easy for yourself. Now you make a shopping list and you buy the food. So you either take the shopping list with you to the shops, or you sit and you do the food order online in accordance to your shopping list, which is in accordance to the plan you've made. Put the plan somewhere where you will remember it and stick to it. I've got this little food shopping book. I keep it next to my coffee machine in the kitchen, so that if I need a reminder of what dinner is on a certain day, I can quickly look at it. Okay, so now you know what you're eating, and you've either ordered or shopped for the right food for it. You don't need to waste brain power or decisions or time popping to the shop every couple of days. Okay, and this ultimately saves you time and money and energy, all of which I bet you want to save. Like I said, I've spoken to so many clients about this week, and one of them said to me, I go into the shop and then I see the offers and I'm like, oh yeah, we'll have that. Oh, we'll have that. How many of you throw food away at the end of the week, waste food because you buy things because you see them on offer and you think, oh, I'll get that, that looks good, but actually you haven't planned in accordance to your week. You forgot you were going out then for dinner and that you were, you'd bought this for that night, and all of a sudden you've got some food that can't be frozen and is going to go out of date. Like that's so annoying. That is more annoying than putting too much food on your plate and feeling like you have to finish it because otherwise it's a waste. That's the true waste, when you buy food that you don't use because you've not planned properly. That's more of a waste than putting too much food on your plate. Okay, so that's how I suggest you do it. And you might be thinking now, that's going to take me so long to do, Chrissy. No, it won't. And even if it does the first time, you will get quicker. And it will save you more time than you're doing now trying to wing this every day. And some of you might think that seems like a lot of work. Yeah, okay, it is work to get organised, but it's less work than going to the shops to get dinner 4 times a week. Absolutely less time, especially if you're working from home and going to a shop, a decent sized shop requires you getting in the car and driving somewhere. I've got my food shopping and planning down to 15 minutes. And I do it every Thursday for a Saturday delivery. So I book the shopping order, I put what I think I need on there just to hold the delivery, and then I come in from boot camp on a Thursday night and we sit, me, Tom and Charlie, on the sofa with a cup of tea, and we just make sure we know what's going on. And if you're, and I involve Tom and Charlie in this process because, like I said to you, it got to January this year and I thought, you know what, I'm sick of being responsible for this myself all the time. So if you're sitting there right now thinking, oh, I don't know what to cook, that sounds like you're putting too much pressure on yourself. Something that I hear from my clients all the time is, can I have some recipes from you? Can I have some lunch ideas? Can I have some dinner ideas? I'd like some quick, healthy recipes that I can use. And I always say to them, with the utmost respect and with, I mean this with love, I am not an encyclopedia of recipes. I'm not. I do not cook from recipe books most of the time. And even when I do cook from recipe books, I kind of get an idea from a recipe book and then I change it and make it fit me. Most households have a repertoire of about 14 meals which they circulate. And no one is saying you need to be a Michelin-starred chef. If you are thinking, I need some recipes, I need some food ideas. Yes, food ideas. But if you're overthinking what you should be cooking, I think you're putting too much pressure on yourself. Create yourself a system and a structure. Like I've explained to you, every Monday we have something that only takes me 15 minutes to cook. It's a stir fry, and I buy ready prepped stir fry vegetables. I buy straight to wok noodles. I buy ready-made curry pastes, and then I either add in tomatoes or coconut milk. I do not stand there chopping. Sometimes Wednesday night dinners are giant fish fingers with, steamed vegetables, not steamed vegetables, frozen veg that's been boiled. Sometimes that's what it is. You don't need to be cooking from a recipe all the time. And when my clients say to me, can you give me some ideas for lunch and dinner? That doesn't work, because we eat what we eat in our house. And, I don't eat red meat. So for those of you that eat, red meat and stuff like that, and I also eat a lot of fish, and some of you don't eat fish, the things I eat are not going to necessarily be helpful for you. BBC Good Food is a great resource of free recipes, so have a look on there as well. But the way that I've got this down to being a really quick process is to stop myself thinking this has to be a recipe all the time, because it doesn't. Yes, some days I have more time to stick to a recipe, or where, Tom's been cooking most Tuesdays and he goes by a recipe, but you don't need to do that. Create these structures. Most of you that have got kids and that have got activities, and maybe you've got responsibilities outside of your 9 to 5, like in the evenings, there will be certain days where a quick dinner is going to be what you need every single day, every single Monday or every single Tuesday or whatever, like my Mondays, Wednesdays and Thursdays. So create that pattern for yourself. And also stop telling yourself that it's complicated, or it takes too long, or you don't know how to do food planning. It is literally writing down breakfasts, lunches and dinners, and actually getting organised, like I've said a couple of times already, is a way of saving yourself time and effort and brain power on thinking all of this through all the time. Okay, so I hope that's been really helpful. I didn't want this to be a super long episode, but like I said, lots of my clients have been struggling with this week. I really wanted this to help both them and those of you that aren't my clients. If you do want my help to achieve your weight loss, health and fitness goals, check out the links in the show notes. I would love to help you, but get on to that food planning vibe. It doesn't have to take very much time at all. Put aside 10-15 minutes to do this later for your next food shop for next week, and I promise you it will save you so much time and energy. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good week. Bye.